Clinton City Council will please come to order. We'll begin tonight with the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Gassman.
Here.
Seeley. Here. McGraw. Here. Allison.
Here.
Oder.
Here.
O'Neill.
Here.
Thank you. We've got 3 proclamations tonight, but before I start the proclamation, I want to remind everyone that there is a school board election going on tonight, and until 8 o'clock, the polls are open. There's one polling place, the Church of the Open Door, so if you haven't voted, don't watch us, go vote. Exercising your right to vote is more important actually than watching us tonight. So with that, we'll move into our proclamations. My first proclamation is declaring September 21st, 2017, International Day of Peace. And the proclamation will be read by Sister Teresa Kunkel, Sister Marilyn Shea, and Sister Joan Thies. I may not have got them in the right order, but
Yes, I'm Sister Marilyn, and I'll start it. So
Okay.
Thank you, Mayor. Proclamation declaring September 21st, 2017, International Day of Peace. Whereas the issue of peace embraces the deepest hopes of all peoples and remains humanity's guiding inspiration. And whereas in 1981, the United Nations proclaimed the International Day of Peace be, quote, devoted to commemorating and strengthening the ideals of peace, both within and among all nations and peoples. And whereas the United Nations expanded the observation of the International Day of Peace in 2001 to include the call for a day of global ceasefire and nonviolence, and invited all nations and people to honor a cessation of hostilities for the duration of the day. And whereas there is a growing support within our city for the observance of the International Day of Peace, which affirms a vision of our world at peace and fosters cooperation between individuals, organizations, and nations. And whereas global crises impel all citizens to work toward converting humanity's noblest aspirations for world peace into the practical reality of a culture of peace for future generations.
Now therefore, I, Mark S. Vulich, Mayor of the City of Clinton, Iowa, do hereby proclaim September 21st, 2017 as the International Day of Peace throughout the City of Clinton, Iowa, and urge all government departments and agencies, organizations, schools, places of worship, and individuals in our city to commemorate in an appropriate manner the International Day of Peace. This may include community service projects, cultural exhibits and performances, a moment of silence, ringing of bells, sharing the universal message, may peace prevail on earth, at noon, vigils, religious services in our places of worship, and other education and public awareness activities in order to help establish a global day of peace in our homes, our communities, and between nations. In witness whereof I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Clinton to be affixed this 12th day of September, 2017.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And our second proclamation tonight is Drive the Great River Road Month, and that will be read by Council Member Cody Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right, proclamation for the Drive the Great River Road Month.
Whereas the Great River Road is America's greatest drive, encompassing 3,000 miles of interconnected roads that follow the Mississippi River through 10 states, from Lake Itasca in northern Minnesota to the Gulf of Mexico and Louisiana. And whereas the Great River Road has been designated a National Scenic Byway for its historical, cultural, recreational, natural, and scenic treasures, and whereas the Great River Road runs through hundreds of vibrant cities and unique river towns, and whereas the Great River Road is the ideal way to discover and experience the rich culture of the Mississippi region in the heart of America, and whereas the Iowa boasts 326 miles of the Great River Road, National Scenic Byway, linking travelers in Iowa with all the riches of the Mississippi River region, and whereas there is no scenic drive in America quite like the Great River Road. Now therefore, the City of Clinton, Honorable Mayor Mark S. Vulich, does hereby proclaim September 2017 to be Drive the Great River Road Month, letting this proclamation serve as an invitation to all Americans and visitors from all around the world to experience America's greatest drive. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Clinton to be affixed this 12th day of September 2017.
Thank you. And our third proclamation tonight is declaring September 10th through 16th, 2017, Chamber of Commerce Week, and the proclamation will be read by Maureen Miller.
Thank you. The proclamation declaring this week, September 10th through 16th, 2017, Chamber of Commerce Week. Whereas the Chamber of Commerce is the voice of business, spearheading discussions and taking action on legal and social matters to improve the business climate. And whereas the Chamber of Commerce serves as the catalyst for peer-to-peer relationship building and is a rich source of networking opportunities, providing members time to establish strong business bonds. And whereas the Chamber of Commerce works with its members to increase exposure, create new business, and ensure that member concerns and success remain top of mind. And whereas, as a not-for-profit 501c6, the Chamber of Commerce is focused on the development of a healthy economy, along with enhancing public image, supporting civic groups, encouraging volunteerism, and spearheading community beautification projects. Now, therefore, the City of Clinton, Honorable Mayor Mark S. Vulich, does hereby proclaim September 10th through 16th, 2017 to be Chamber of Commerce Week, letting this proclamation serve as an invitation to all businesses in the Clinton area to become involved with the Clinton Area Chamber of Commerce. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Clinton to be affixed this 12th day of September 2017.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks. That concludes our proclamations for tonight. Councilmember Allison.
Your Honor, I move to dispense with the reading of the regular City Council meeting and Committee of the Whole minutes of August 22nd, 2017, and they be approved as published on September 5th, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Oder.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to public hearings, of which we have one tonight. I will convene a public hearing concerning the accepting bid and awarding contract for the 13th Avenue North Concrete Rehabilitation Project P-2017. Have we had any comments in the clerk's office?
No, we have not, Your Honor.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this public hearing? Hearing none, Councilmember O'Neill.
Thank you, Your Honor. I move that the public hearing concerning accepting the bid and awarding the contract for the 13th Avenue North Concrete Rehabilitation Project P-2017 be entered into the record.
Second, Your Honor.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Oder,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes?
Gassman.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember O'Neill.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution accepting the bid and awarding the contract to Eastern Iowa Excavating for the project P-2017 13th Avenue North Concrete Rehabilitation Project for the sum of $203,642. I move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I just have a couple questions for the city engineer on this. And they're brief. So this is just patching, right? This is,
Yes,
we're
sir.
just patching spots, right? So I was looking, we've got $100,000 spread in between the bid and the estimate, and then 40,000 between your estimate and the lowest bid. I didn't know
Right.
if you had a little explanation or.
Well, I mean, I was just trying to be, sorry, Jason Kraft, city engineer. I was just trying to be, give you the best estimate that I could, give the contractors the best estimate I could, which was just a educated guess, and I believe that they probably thought it was gonna cost them more money than I did. We only got a couple of bids. One of our local contractors neglected to bid on it, but I don't think it's too far out of line. The goal of this project is to patch all of the concrete on 13th Avenue between Mill Creek Parkway and the landfill, the city limits, so that next year we can overlay that road with 4 inches of asphalt in conjunction with a county project that actually extends all the way to Elvira.
Okay.
So we have to get this project done, fix all the pavement we've been fixing the worst spots almost every year for the past 4 or 5 years, and this
Yeah.
will be the end of it. And, there's no other option here than to do the work, and, I just think that, some of the difficulties are probably related to traffic control. It's a busy street, so, getting traffic through there while the construction project's going on probably has something to do with the cost.
So even between the bidders, we've got we've got a $80,000 spread, but a 30 between two of them. So the quality of work is going to be the same amongst this contractor.
This contractor's very good.
Okay.
Yeah, they've done work in town a lot and very happy with their work. I would choose them as a very affordable, efficient, and cost-effective contractor. Their work will be just fine, and yeah,
Okay.
I trust them.
Rock on.
All
All right.
right.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw. Yes. Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Gasman.
Thank you. That concludes our public hearings tonight, so we'll move to audience comment. So far, I have one person that wishes to address the council, and that's Shelley Denning, and she wants to talk about traffic issues and damaged street by semis.
Your Honor, Councilman, members. My name is Shelley Denning. I live at 2013 Harrison Drive here in Clinton. All of you are probably aware that it's behind or right in front of the old International Paper Building. I've only lived there a year and a half, but my neighbors are also here, and they lived there far more years than I have. The road from, I think it's 19th, all the way, Harrison from there, all the way down past Legends and then to Lincoln Way. Half of that street, probably about where the office is for International Paper, is just holes. And the side of the street is just falling off, and I think a lot of the reason for this has not just been from the snow and winters and traffic, but we have semis that continuously go up and down that road, constantly going to Swiss Colony, and they come off of Lincoln Way, or they come up on 27th and come down, or 19th, either one. But we do have signs, enforcement signs, that semis are not allowed on that particular part of the street, and they're totally being ignored. We've called the Clinton Police Department on many occasions and asked them to monitor, and I have seen them, a few times over in the parking lot, just kind of watching. But they come at, 2, 3, and 4 in the morning. I mean, it's all day long, it's all night, it's very loud. It's even rattled our windows when they hit some of those speed bumps in the parking lot. But the worst part is what they're doing to the street. We can't ride our bicycles. The kids, we have children that live in that neighborhood, they can't ride their bikes on that street either. It's horrible, really, really bad. So we just wanted to bring that to your attention. I don't know how many of you go down that street regularly, but I do, so here we do, and we notice it a lot. But thank you.
We'll take a look at it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? good enough to identify yourself, sir?
Yeah, I'm Gaylord Ralston. I live at 2021 Harrison Drive. I've lived on that street for 83 years. It's actually old Highway 30, and it's brick underneath, the same as some of these downtown streets. Well, first of all, I was going to congratulate the city of Clinton and the way they're keeping up the streets here. I'm really proud to drive on some of them, but our street, no. It just seems to get patched all the time. And if you ever been out that way and looked up 27th Avenue South, which was there before I was born, that stretch of paving is a wonderful example of concrete. That hardly has ever had to have any maintenance to it. It has creek gravel in it, but that used to be Highway 32. It went up there and came out down on Comanche Avenue. Anyway, we have this 5-ton limit on this area from South 19th Street down to the railroad tracks by Bonnie's. Big sign there, brand new sign on each end, and these trucks do not pay any attention to it. I've had the police out there. They might stop one and then you never see them again. But just to make you aware of what 5 tons is, a single axle, double axle tractor with the front wheels and the back wheels, we're talking 16-ton vehicle. Okay? A double axle tractor with a single axle trailer, we're talking 22 tons. So they're just pounding that highway, and it goes up and up. Here, you know, a 3-axle tractor, that's a front wheels and 2 sets of duals. You're talking 26 tons, just the tractor, and these are not loaded weights. So we would like to get somebody to please come out there and enforce the law. I've stopped trucks myself out there just when they're going by and down by the road there, and I've told them they're not allowed, but they keep coming from 6 o'clock in the morning all day long. And you got these nice roads, South 19th Street, that they could go right up to the Highway 30 there, and that's what they should be using. And last time I went to get my oil changed on my car, the guy told me, "Hey, your right tie rod's getting loose." Well, I was sitting in my chair tonight. I thought, well, I wonder why. The patches are kind of on the edges, mostly. You go down that street, bumpty, bumpty, bump. You come back the other way, bumpty, bumpty, bump on the right side. So, you know, it's just ruining our vehicles. And we'd like to try to get something done about it. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that wishes to address the council tonight? Hearing none, we will move on to the consent agenda. Councilmember Allison.
Your Honor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented on the attachment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember Seeley.
Your Honor, thank you. 23 and 21 I'd like to pull, please.
23 and 21.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Anyone else? Could we have a roll call vote on the balance of the consent agenda then, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Oder.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to motions, resolutions, and ordinances. Councilmember Gassman.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would move that the claims we have be received, approved, and placed on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Oder,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Allison.
Your Honor, I have a resolution accepting NAIA rule termination letter. I move this resolution be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember O'Neill.
Thank you, Your Honor. Just for clarification for, I guess, the public and maybe anyone else, that NAI rules terminate their agreement with us because the CRDC's dropping out the agreement with them, and apparently they don't see a lot of benefit in serving one master with the same property being divided up. I'm not really excited about the whole situation. I think we should have kept on with the agreement with the broker, as we talked about before. Not having it represented, I think, is a mistake. I'm just, my question is what the future plans are. Last week when we had Mr. Holsinger here, they're saying that the continuation of working with NAI rule wasn't in their strategic plan. Unfortunately, we didn't get any explanation of what their strategic plan is and why it wouldn't include them. And we are partners with them, and I thought, we at least maybe should have had some insight into what that strategic plan is. So I don't know if that includes coming back in a couple of months with another broker. I think it'd be ill-advised to do that, because I don't know if that would quite pass the same test as we went through before. But it's an unfortunate situation, and I think we should take a real good look at the rail park and our commitment out there and what we're going to be doing in the future. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Odor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution allowing 2 timed on-street parking spaces in the 400 block of 4th Avenue North. I move that it be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember Gassman,
No.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Odor.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution authorizing a 28E agreement with the City of Clinton, Iowa, and the City of Macokota, Iowa, for a $1.5 million HUD lead hazard reduction grant. And I move that it be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Councilmember O'Neill.
I guess I'm curious where this evolved from. I don't remember having a lot of discussion about it either on the committee of the whole, or we did. Okay.
We talked about it.
Yeah. Matt, do you want to address it?
Yeah, I think it actually started before my time. They started it last year, ECI submitted for it. But just a moment in time of.
Consider this over a year ago, okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right.
And it's a little important, this is a good piece here, is what we'll do is we'll work with the city of Macokota, but we'll identify homes that have lead-based paint. And what we're gonna do is actually start out with the folks that have 6 years or younger children. They'll actually come in because they're already being tested as well as for school. And then we're also gonna dovetail this in with CDBGs. We're gonna put in for grants, because we're thinking if we go into some houses to abate the lead, there may be some other problems that we might be able to assist with as well. So we're gonna take a look at that too. But we're working closely with Macokota, and all we're doing for them is their throughput. They'll hand in their receipts to us, we'll process them, Anita's office will, and then we'll send them up to ECIA for process.
Is the priority coming from children that test for lead?
Yeah, so the first and we're gonna put something out in the paper once this is all done, and we'll give it like the stages of what it is, but the priority is the children that are under 6 years old in a home. That's where we're gonna start the focus, with the intent to get maybe 5 conducted over the winter time frame as we just roll this program out. And then really get picking up in the springtime.
Thank you. Councilmember Seeley?
Hey, Your Honor. We have another grant program that we struggle to get contractors to do work on. So have we started looking into these contractors that are gonna do this lead abatement work and where they're gonna come from?
Yeah, well, this is gonna come from the same group, Tim Crabb and crew, from ECIA, who go out and work with the lead abatement folks. They're gonna actually, ECIA is gonna provide a retired gentleman who's done this for a career with lead abatement, and so he's gonna be part of the crew that actually selects the folks that will be going in. He'll be there to monitor as they're removing it, as they get it all done. And then BNS is gonna just stay closely with them, just so they can see how that progresses and it works as well. So we plan to have a lot more oversight, on this process with the lead.
And then so we'll have 1 million, Macokota will get 500 basically.
Yes.
How many houses can we approximately treat with that?
Well, originally when we talked about it, anywhere from 60 to 80. It's gonna be based on how bad the lead is in the houses, not to get the lead out, but I had to throw that in there, right? But it's really gonna be matter. Some are just, some are just have a little bit, but then some have a lot
Yeah,
more. So
yeah.
each one will have to take independently, but the intent is to reach out to, 60 to 80, as many as we possibly can.
Okay.
Any other questions? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember McGraw.
Thank you, Your Honor. I have a resolution approving a standard of conduct statement for employees, board, commissions, and agents of the city of Clinton, Iowa. I move that the resolution be adopted as presented.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I have a question, Your Honor. I didn't remember even, talking about this at all. Where did it come from?
We're waiting. We tried to no. So in order to get the grant from the government, we have to have one of these. So Anita's team, they worked and basically got the basic one that's out there for code of conduct that it basically covers us all. It's nothing that we don't already do. We just didn't have the verbiage that they had, and this has to be in the packet that we submit in to get the final approval for the monies.
For what?
It's a code of conduct
For the grant.
for the grant, yeah. It's a
Federal-
part of the package.
Federal government's
Okay.
requiring it.
Well, and here's the thing, I had a big objection when I read it, and even more so now. We're way away from the standard procedure of bringing things to the committee of the whole, allowing time to talk about it, agree with it, disagree with it, and research what an objection would be or wouldn't be. And quite frankly, when I did get a chance to read through it, I came up with several problems with it. One that was never vetted on the cow. And, it seems like, by the wording, I don't know what some of the definitions mean. What are we talking about, board members? Or commissioners? Or agents? I mean, obviously, we took this from somebody, but does this include the city council? Does it include every board member that's appointed by the mayor? Does it include, I think, we need some definition of it, and we need some time to look through it. And then, there's several sections in there on failure to report or disclose where there's a reprimand, suspension, or dismissed, and my question is, by who and who does it cover? None of this has been talked about, and quite frankly, there are at least 2 exemptions I'd want on there, to be included. So, I guess I'm almost to the point of asking this to be tabled so we can talk about it and get some of these questions answered, where we got a boilerplate of somebody else's work that doesn't well define what we're looking at, or what I'm happy with.
Well, my concern, Your Honor, was, you assign people to boards and commissions, and if you had some difficulty with them, I mean, you would just automatically either take them off or reassign and things like that without this. I mean, that's what you've done yearly.
Right.
And, I don't have a issue with those kind of things, but, I mean, if it's gonna be for certain groups of people, it should be stated that way, not just be a open-ended, anybody that works for the city of any capacity, whether you're a volunteer or not. I don't think that's a fair,
Well, if we're
grouping.
If we're gonna have it, I think, it should include, if it doesn't include council people, it should. But if it does, then I think, that should be taken care of by a 3-member board of the council. I don't think we put the city administrator in the position of reprimanding the city council people. That doesn't, I don't know where this came from.
There actually is within our ordinances, or within the state, how a city council member is reprimanded. There actually is code that covers that.
Well, I understand that, Your Honor, but, being the specific target of a conflict of interest that was ill-advised and unfounded, I'm very, very temperamental about just giving loosey-goose ability for anyone to come up and make accusations that somebody has a conflict of interest. And it happened to me personally. I don't like the idea of somebody either playing politics or doing anything with reprimands about conflicts of interest. We've worked our way through that on several occasions with things. If we're gonna have a policy, I think we should authorize it, and we should have some input in what's in it. I understand that someone grabbed a boilerplate because they thought time was of the essence, but I'm not, like I said, there's at least 2 exemptions of city employees. I would like to see an exemption for them. The other thing is, I'd like a little bit more defined of who. We don't have any commissioners. We don't have some of these other things that are in here, so.
We do have commissioners. The airport commission, they could be considered commissioners.
Okay.
The planning commission could technically be considered commissioners. We consider, if you're gonna look at it that way, there's the Housing Board of Appeals, but we do have some that they actually are commissioners.
So now we're gonna turn around and have all these volunteers sign a thing that they can.
Doesn't say they sign anything.
Well, I think you should just apply this to this grant procedure and not
You
make
always
it,
come back and have
not
deeper
make it
discussions.
general
Right
for
here, I've read
every
the city
situation
Clinton
here.
Code of conduct and for board members, commissioners, and employees. And understand the term and conditions set forth serve as a commissioner, as the active commissioner, so.
But
yeah,
I
they
st- I
do
st-
all have to sign it.
But Your Honor, I still go
that's-
back and say that you assign those people, so to me, this, asking here should be just for this grant purpose, not for everything
Well,
you
I-
do or the
Well, I
council
actually agree with
does.
you. This came out of, I know that where this came out of, it's one of the requirements that has to be submitted in order to get this grant. This is the federal government, and we don't
it-
have a written
It should be
policy.
limited to that grant asking, not for our daily business.
That's our intent. Maybe we
preparation.
didn't word it correctly. That's our intent. We have
well-
no intent to have everybody go and sign this. No.
Part of the issue is they want more than that. They want us to have in place a code of conduct. In fairness to Matt and the staff, they did ask me to look at it. It's very similar to what we intend to draft into the handbook, the new revisions to the handbook anyway, and so that's why I really did not have an issue with it. I think it's fine. Just to clarify for Councilmember O'Neill, it doesn't apply to council level elected officials. They have as the mayor pointed out, they have a separate statutory set of standards, and you're more or less supervising everyone below you, and what this does is allows more or less the city administrator to make sure that these codes are being followed on all our boards and commissions. And if you look from city to city, you'll see very similar language, and so when I looked at it, I just didn't see anything that stuck out at me that was radically different from the other codes of conduct that I've seen other cities draft. And so I told the staff, it looks good to me, but if the council wants to tweak it or wants to change it or wants to make it more clear, I can certainly assist Matt with any changes you all want. Unless, Matt, there's a deadline on the grant, that's the question. How quickly do we need to get something in
Well,
place?
but this is a reoccurring situation. We get this stuff at the dead last minute, and it's thrown in front of us, oh, we gotta have this for this, and you just told me we had this grant, we've been talking about it for a year. And now we got a code of conduct in front of us about.
Yeah, we've been talking about it, but it wasn't actually awarded.
Well, we need some input into it. I mean, besides the staff and the city attorney, I think the city council needs some input into it and know what we're doing this for and who's gonna be covered. It's really getting problematic.
If I could just interject for a moment, Anita Dalton, Finance Director. It was given to us by ECIA, about 2 weeks ago. We were inundated with requests from ECIA for all the documentation that's required to, be
Execute.
submitted with the HUD, grant to HUD. There's an orientation that's coming up. Everything happened very quickly. We submitted a draft copy. If you would like, to not approve this tonight and go back and have the city attorney tweak it, we'd be happy to do that. They do have all of the paperwork turned in. There is a draft copy of this that shows that we are in the works of getting one in place, and the one that is in front of you was used by the city of Dubuque. That's
What's the
boilerplate
deadline
that
for
came.
submitting everything?
Pardon?
What's the deadline for submitting everything?
It's been submitted.
So it's already done?
Yeah, that
As a
was
draft.
submitted as a
As a
draft
draft.
copy.
It's okay. See, I live in a different world. Is like, honesty and being truthful, and there should be no worries. Is I see the glass is half full, and it's all full with air besides the water. So I don't look at through different glasses. I don't see any impact whatsoever on our citizens, on our council members, anybody. What I see is $1.5 million from HUD being provided so we can provide lead abatement to families that are living in houses where their children have lead around them. And so I look at it a little differently, and I think this is a great thing, and I'll be happy to spend hours with you, Councilmember O'Neill, hours and hours on this to get it right, but we needed to get it in. It's a draft. No one's gonna sign a copy of it, okay? And that way we can move forward and have this really great initiative take place.
That's all well and good, but again, the vetting process is not, is what I object to. And the idea that if we've had this in the works for a year, or over a year, and we're, all of a sudden, we got 2 days to look at this and approve it, that's already been submitted, I mean, why am I not home watching Wheel of Fortune if that's the case? Why am I here?
I think, though, you just missed one sentence. This came in the last 2 weeks. We might have applied for it a year ago, but the work to be done came 2 weeks ago to be submitted, so it isn't a year in the works. So I guess the real question is, if the council doesn't want to approve the code of conduct, we could reject and turn down the $1.5 million and not
Well,
participate.
I'd like to say that's like an emotional dig.
But-
We're just asking questions.
No, I
and-
understand,
And to
but-
have an emotional dig, I think that's very disrespectful.
It's not an emotional
No,
dig.
it is. No, you're telling everybody that if 2 people ask questions.
No.
That, by God, we're gonna lose $1.5 million. That's not what we said at all. We said, this showed up, there was no vetting for it. You've already done everything on your own, and it's like, why do you even have a council then? That's what I'm saying. Whether it's a good thing or not, you're circumventing what this board of directors is. The city council is the board of directors that makes the rules. And you're just showing up with things and expecting us to rubber stamp it? Not this guy.
Matt, can I ask a question real quick? The materials are submitted, and so they're downrange, and they're gonna be, we're not getting any feedback that they're not, that what we gave them is not in compliance at this point. So, I mean, it seems to me that if we work on this, as Councilmember Gaspin and Councilmember O'Neill are concerned about, I mean, I think we can still draft something that everybody has a chance to look at, and I think we can take our time at this point and get that approved in a manner that everybody likes. I don't think that HUD is gonna pull I mean, we're showing our commitment, and what we could do is pass a resolution that we agree that a code of conduct has to be, that we agree that something substantially similar to this has to be agreed to, and show that we're willing to do that, and we should be fine.
And I already commented that if you attached it just to this grant asking, it doesn't matter. If you're gonna just use it for every situation that shows up, then it bothers me.
And that
bothers me.
that's what I'm saying. I think that's correct. I think we could draft something that would work for
For
the
this one?
council.
I don't care, but I mean, if you're gonna use that against me or Ed or anybody else on the council down the road for any sniffle that happens, no, I'm not gonna play that game.
I have a couple questions, Your Honor.
Councilmember Seeley?
Thank you. Did you know a date certain when they're gonna have need all the final documents, or is that up in the air? Okay, so we've just got them all the preliminary stuff, and we're waiting for essentially final approval. Secondly, will they follow up? Will they say, hey, we wanna see your code of conduct, signed paperwork? I don't know what's attached to this grant, so I mean, if we certainly don't wanna say we're gonna follow this procedure and not follow it and then be stuck paying back $1 million in grant money, because we didn't do something silly like this. So I think it's important that if we are gonna implement something, that it probably should be followed through to some extent, just to do what's right. Do you not agree, Pat?
I do, but I think that we've passed this particular stage in the grant process, so I think
Yeah.
My guess
Well,
is we
all
have a
we've-
few weeks to
Yeah,
figure
we've
this
just
out.
submitted a draft. It's not a big deal. So what we have the opportunity now that, you know, if we need to actually have this in place where, you know, something that has to be signed, if they're going to follow up with it, then so be it. But we need to figure out what that is and what they need.
Right.
Perhaps they don't need this section. That perhaps all it needs to be is a code of conduct, and it doesn't need to be signed by anyone. You know, and it can just be applicable for this specific situation. But I guess we don't know that for sure, do we?
I was just gonna comment on your question about will they follow up. I think it'll probably be audited. The grant will be audited. I know the FEMA grant for the boat was audited. We had certain things that we had to provide to them to show that we had in place. I would suspect this one would
So
be
there is
audited separately from our year-end audit by the state of Iowa.
So there is a good chance they're going to say we want to see the signed
Certainly,
code of conduct.
yeah, that they would say we'd like to see the code of conduct that you follow.
I think since time is of the essence, I think generally putting through that we are going to commit to something and then tweaking it out and getting a final draft put back together is probably the best solution to this specific document.
They're going to want to see when they do the audit a
Yeah.
signed resolution, which is the council's
Yeah.
method of acting on that. So as long as we get that done
Yeah.
sometime before the audit, we should be fine. And I'm sure they don't expect the city council just to rubber stamp language, as Councilmember O'Neill rightly points out. I mean, they're going to expect that you might debate over how to word it and what it should say. And my sense about it is, you know, unless they're telling us differently, I think we could probably work on this and get it done in the next 30 days, and it should be fine.
All right, oops, sorry.
Councilmember Alice is next.
I think given the discussion that we should appoint 3 people, the mayor should appoint 3 people to review this and bring it back, and we'll approve it. We'll put it into the regular channel and come to a cow and approve it.
Okay.
Is that a motion?
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
Well, I'd second with a little discussion.
We'll have discussion now. Go ahead.
You know, this, I think, needs to be grant specific because, I mean, as our city attorney said, that's what this same code of conduct you were gonna put in the employee handbook or whatever. Well, that means to me that we have no discussion about it, you just put it in the employee handbook. Would that ever come to the cow and would we ever have a discussion? Doesn't sound like it to me.
No, that definitely has to come through you.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so,
Matt and I, once we have that draft done, that's
Okay.
definitely coming to you on the
so
council.
then all
It's
you
gonna be a
need to
long
do, for my satisfaction, would be to make this grant specific and move it on for this project. But if it's gonna be the employee handbook and everything else, no. And that's all I'm trying to point out. We had no input into it. If we rubber stamp this one for a code of conduct without any specifics in it, it's gonna be used on everything without us having any influence or any discussion over it.
Well, I have a question. On the last line of the resolution, it says, now therefore be it resolved by the city council of the city of Clinton, Iowa. It says the attached standard code of conduct be approved and mayor directed that the attached code of conduct will be applied to the HUD lead hazard reduction grant for 2017.
Yeah, and if that's the understanding, I don't have an issue. I'm just saying.
Well, that's fine, but I'm saying.
I'm just saying, it doesn't always end up that way. 6 months down the road, we get the same document that said, well, you passed it. Now you have to change it if you wanna change it. Well, I don't wanna do that. I wanna have discussion and change it and not have it boilerplate for everything that happens in the next 4 city councils. That's all I'm saying. You
My
know,
sense about it is-
You got to
Yeah.
give the council, they're the board of directors here, you gotta give them a chance to have their input in it. So if you wanna make this one grant specific, I don't have an issue with it, but otherwise,
Well,
I'll vote no.
let's, what I just proposed, is that an acceptable thing to add to the sentence?
I think so. I think
think
that would
so.
be fine, and I also think if the council's well aware that you're gonna be drafting a comprehensive code of conduct anyway, that the council will review in detail when the handbook is submitted to the council. I think you've got it covered both ways. You can handle that, you can adopt this as a stopgap mechanism that will satisfy the grant reviewers and the auditors, and then you will be working anyway on a citywide nepotism policy that would essentially replace that one as a final and full document as part of the handbook here in a few months.
but that will need to be done in a couple months, because if they ask for signed,
Well, we have this one that
We're gonna sign
This will
mayor's
be in
gonna
place
sign it.
anyway.
this will be in place.
only to this grant.
no, I know, but, I mean, the point of this is HUD's looking for something that is our policy, that they wanna see people on boards and commissions have signed. Now, are we gonna have that or not?
We could have it in a couple of months, or a couple of weeks, couldn't we?
I'm saying that this would become our policy temporarily until we pass the handbook, and we would expressly adopt the handbook, and it would supplant all prior policies.
That's
including
fine,
this one.
that's fine, but I don't think it's specific to the grant, because they're asking for this to be signed by
Correct.
boards and commissions, so they want, this is our policy, it's not specific to the grant, and if we can't produce what we're telling them we're going to produce, I don't want us in trouble. So, if we're gonna go with this for now, and then override it in 2 months, that's probably gonna be okay, but, because we're gonna have documents we can produce by the time, the audit's in place and so on and so forth, but that also doesn't make sense to me, because, I mean, we're just gonna throw this through and not even have anyone look at it to do the grant, or should we just get this policy wrapped up in the next couple weeks to submit with it as it should be?
Councilmember O'Neill?
Yeah, I think the last statement Councilman Cody said is probably as close as I'm comfortable getting to wrap it up and make it official in a couple of weeks. I mean, my first inclination is to table it, and I'm trying to stay away from that, because that has some connotations to it that I don't particularly think apply here, but the whole idea of the objection is that we refrain from bringing things to a resolution without input from the council, or at least of talking about it on the committee of the whole. And I don't particularly care whether my opinion prevails or not, but it's the essence of what we've been able to accomplish things over the last 4 years, is discussion and ideas and input. And like I said, have this show up on a council meeting in a business session with a resolution without any discussion that affects people that are volunteers, and quite frankly, I don't know who it affects. I'm not sure. And it's not clear, and I think it's improper for us to sit here and take a stamp and throw it on here so we can say ours is just as good as Dubuque's. Let's get our own and get it hammered out, bring it to a cow, tweak it, and second week in October, have it in there. They've got this now. They're not gonna audit us between now and October. It's just, it's the matter of the procedure as much as it is the fact that I don't know what I'm voting on and what repercussions it has.
We have
We have a motion on the floor right now for me to appoint 3 people to review a code of conduct and bring it back to the committee of the whole. That's the current motion that's on the floor.
Yes,
So have we had enough discussion on that? Apparently we have. Our time is up.
Wasn't me.
Google thinks so.
Wasn't me.
Our time of discussion is now ended, and I don't hear any other
I
discussion
think it
on
was
that.
Cody's
This
fault.
is our
Yeah.
final spin.
That's our final spin. So, let's vote on that. Do we wanna have I'll appoint 3 council people to review this template of a code of conduct, and then after they've reviewed it, the city attorney's reviewed it, it'll come back to the committee of the whole to be worked on further by everybody else, okay? So let's have a roll call vote on that.
Councilmember Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll take care of that. Now, we're back to this resolution. Is it acceptable that we amend this resolution to make it specific to this particular project that will ultimately get superseded by a future code of conduct that's developed so that we actually show we have something on record? Or what's the council's pleasure here?
Why, just one more question. If it's in fact that anybody you assign to a board or commission, do they have to sign this, or they can't have the job?
That's what it says.
That's what this
Because-
code of conduct says, but I'm I myself am interpreting this slightly differently because we're making it specific to the HUD project. I would feel that anybody that was working on the HUD project would have to follow this code of conduct.
Okay.
And we won't have any commissioners involved in the code of conduct. We would only have some city employees that would be involved, and probably the contractors as such, and I'm not even sure they are applied to this, they're not city employees. So,
And then the second question of that is, and then when you, in 2 weeks, when you get this whole thing ironed out, are you gonna go to all your commissioners and the appointees and ask them to sign this, and what if they don't sign it?
well, that's gonna be decided if the council wants that to be part of the code of conduct.
Is that legit?
I'm gonna need to look at the regulations for the HUD grant to tell you the answer to that, because I don't know how specific they need you to be. I don't know if they're asking if they're making a general that if their regulations require adoption of a code of conduct in a general manner like that, we may be able to get around. You know, what that is, by the way, is just an acknowledgement that you've read it. That's all it is. It's the same thing as our employees signing the handbook. So I'm not particularly have a problem with anybody being asked to sign this. There's nothing controversial about it. It's basically saying don't lie, don't cheat, and don't steal.
Yeah.
And if the federal government's gonna give us $1.5 million, they don't want anybody to lie, cheat, or steal. So, but I guess I need to look at the language of the HUD grant in order to tell you that, and I could get you a memo on that. I probably could get it from the staff. So, but the answer to your question is, my guess is we can probably put together a code of conduct which substantially complies, and they would probably not have a problem with it, but I guess I need to see the strictures of what they're gonna look for in an audit. So,
Councilmember O'Neill?
Well, if you're gonna appoint these people fairly quickly, we do that, I'd just like, go ahead and make the motion to table this until the second business meeting in October. We can get it tweaked and resolved and get it passed on. I mean, like I said, there's not gonna be an audit now, so I'll make that motion to table it till the second business meeting in October.
Second, would you state the date, please, because we wanna make sure we have it for the record. What you consider
Okay.
the second business meeting,
That would be
well, we're gonna, that's
the 24th.
24th. Okay. And then will that be to the committee of the whole?
No, that would be for the business meeting. We can
Okay.
bring it to the committee of the whole, the first business meeting, and get,
Oh, but you're tabling this to, do you wanna bring this for discussion to the committee of the whole then on the 10th?
that'd be fine.
I just want, because then we can have discussion.
Then we
on
can
the-
move to the 24th, yeah, or the 17th.
Okay, so it's tabled to the 10th of October. Okay, we have a motion to table this resolution to October 10th, Committee of the Whole. Could we have roll call, please?
Your Honor, did we have a second?
No.
I'm sorry.
Did we have a second? Nope. And there is a lack of a second, so go back to the discussion of whether, my question is, would everyone be agreeable to just amending this and specifically applying this to this HUD grant?
I am, Your
And
Honor.
is there a second to that?
I'll second it, and I'm concerned that this doesn't specifically apply to a HUD grant when it's specifically saying that it is the city of Clinton's policy for boards and commissions employees. So I don't know if maybe we change the title of it, HUD grant policies and procedures. This doesn't make sense to me, and when it doesn't make sense, I'm a little uncomfortable with it. Yeah. So we've got a draft in. We need to get them a final at some point. We need to find out when that is. In the meantime, we got 3 people. We can have this thing revised in a week and back for approval. So let's just get it done. Okay.
Okay,
So what do we need to
So we
approve?
take no action on the,
well, right now, we turned down a table, you've turned down amending this, so now we're sitting here with a resolution that's actually been read and to be voted up or down, or we need to do something with this poor resolution.
I
So-
would like we modify the resolution that we bring it back the next business meeting with the amended policy with the 3 people's
So you want
input.
it back in 2 weeks?
Yep,
To a committee of the whole?
that's
you
plenty
got-
of time,
or
yeah.
you- to a-
No, let's bring it right back. Let's get it done. right back to the business meeting. And just get it to us in advance so we can all read it. I'm assuming I'm not. No.
Maybe we should have a motion for picking the three.
That's my decision. That's my, so the motion currently is to bring this back at the next business meeting. to
Revised.
The revised plan at the next business meeting.
That's the amendment.
That, well, there, no, it's the action to take on it,
Yes.
so it's basically we're
That's our
delaying
next
the
one.
vote for 2 weeks.
And
Okay.
the intent is to move this forward, that way it's clear.
Is
I'm
there,
concerned with the grant and
is there a
this
second to your
not
motion?
being so, oh, sorry.
Did you, did you
Yep,
second, Paul?
That's
Okay.
fine with me.
Okay, so we're gonna, the vote, right now, a yes will move this to the next business meeting, which is the last one at the end of this month. So could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yeah.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor.
Yes.
Thank you. Councilmember Odor.
Thank you, Your Honor. Let me find my sheet. I have a resolution authorizing a sub-recipient agreement with the City of Clinton, Iowa and East Central Intergovernmental Association for a 1.5 million HUD lead hazard reduction grant, and I move that it be adopted as presented.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill.
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes our motions, resolutions, and ordinances. We'll move to unfinished business. Councilmember Seeley, number 23.
Thank you, Your Honor. I cannot for the life of me recall this and what this is exactly, and I just want to know.
Okay.
It's the supplemental agreement for wetland area watering and maintenance.
Oh, yeah, that's because second phase of the rail park project, we graded for the track
Uh-huh.
that extends off the UP main line into the rail park.
Okay.
And part of that, we had to go through some wetlands and construct the track over wetlands, so we had to establish other wetlands and
Yep.
replacement of those. And with that, the Corps of Engineers permit, there was a 3-year monitoring, supplemental monitoring, watering, and maintenance contract that we had with Riley Construction for that. Year 1 was 2011, year 2 was 2012.
Okay.
And it took them 5 years and an arbitration hearing to finally finish year 3. And so this is year 3. It was supposed to be done in 2013.
Okay.
Done now, and now it's our wetland, and we will.
Great.
We're done with the contract with Riley.
Do we know where this wetland is so we can all go visit it?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know.
there's a couple of them down there. I can take you down there on a field trip. It's not all that exciting. Sometimes there's some ducks and some muskrats, other sorts of wildlife. But
So
it's
this
right
is-
down there by that track that curves in south of the road there.
Okay. And this is done now. We don't have to spend any more money on this, right?
Well, no, we still have to. We can't just wash our hands of it and then let it go back to nature. We still have to do inspections, but it's nothing like this. No more we'll have to burn
Okay.
the wetland and the prairie every spring, and
Okay.
we'll have to hire a certified landscape architect and wetland soil scientist to go out and take a look at it. But you know, it's nothing like this. No more $20,000 a year, although it took 5 years to finally make this final payment.
Okay.
So nothing like that. But we just have to maintain it as a wetland. It's an accredited wetland now. The Corps of Engineers has accepted it as a wetland.
That's great.
They've given it their blessing.
Good. All right. And the other one's for you too.
Sure.
Well,
Oh,
we've gotta
sorry.
finish-
Oh,
we
yeah, I
gotta
gotta
finish.
approve this. I'll
All
move
right.
to approve it.
Okay,
Thanks for your explanation.
Second.
Yep.
we have a motion and a second. I'm assuming there's no other questions, so could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
And now we'll go to item number 21, Councilmember Seeley.
Thank you, Your Honor. Okay, Jason, this was the emergency repair that we
Yes.
had to bore under the railroad tracks,
Correct.
and that all worked out fine. And is it what we budgeted then?
It's a little under what we budgeted,
We were
and
at 350, I think. Right?
we didn't end up with any. The only thing that which not included as part of this payment, was we had to replace a manhole outside the lift station. We handled outside of the contract, but there was no cost increases on this part of the project. The work was pretty well defined. There are a few things that they did that was extra that we, instead of paying them extra for, we gave them some lenience on the completion date, because they ran into a lot of delays, but in the end, it worked well it's flowing through there now. There's no further obstructions. We won't have to go underneath those railroad tracks for as long as we all shall live.
Okay. Good to know. Good to know.
That could be a very long time.
I'll
It's
move
built to last.
Thank you, Jason.
Is she writing this down?
I'll move to approve number 21.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'm assuming that here again, no other questions? Could we have roll call then, please?
Councilmember McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor,
Yes.
O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley.
Yes.
Thank you. That concludes our unfinished business. Councilmember Allison.
Your Honor, I move to adjourn to 7 PM, September 26th, 2017.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Could we have roll call, please?
Councilmember O'Neill,
Yes.
Gassman,
Yes.
Seeley,
Yes.
McGraw,
Yes.
Allison,
Yes.
Odor.
Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned, and I think we need some time to set up for our demonstration, so we're gonna take a 5-minute break, and so we'll reconvene at 7 after.
So September 26th. Yeah, I know. And then,
I could have gotten a draft at the time. We probably
Yeah.
could have passed it tonight, but,
Yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
See where it comes
first of
from.
all, this just says that if I drafted it that
Yeah.
way, and we could adopt what they gave us, and it's strictly applicable to individuals who are working on the levy abatement. And then we say said policy or resolution will be in full force and effect only until supplanted by the anticipated code of conduct provision of the new city handbook currently being drafted. You add that to the end of the resolution. So we've satisfied them and we've satisfied ourselves that it's not, there's nothing permanent anyway. It's only narrowly applicable to the individuals on the project. And then that gives us plenty of time, because Matt and I are working on, I gave him the whole draft of the handbook. But I can, I'll check and see if there's a code of conduct policy in there. I think I have a discipline thing.
Yeah.
That says all of these things are gonna get you in trouble. But I can add a code of conduct type thing as well.
Okay.
That you can, because that's a major problem. Matt and I are planning on putting on theoretically, yeah.
We already have.
We
people.
already do that anyway. We give every employee
That's new.
a copy of the handbook and they gotta sign it.
Yeah.
This is new, right, but it'll be in the handbook. It'll be in the handbook anyhow.
But I'm just saying you've got a lot of.
To me, that just seems dumb that HUD wants them to be applicable to commissions because they don't have anything to do with it for grant
I
writing.
know, that's why I try to separate all that.
Employees would be one thing, because we might actually have employees.
Yeah, and that's different.
We might have to talk.
Well, I mean, it's gonna come up, we might as well solve it on the board. Like that. Right. Well, they just send it back, they sign it. And that might be 2 years down the road. Yeah. Hey. Hey.
I'm gonna give this to the clerk.
All right.
You just pass that at the next meeting.
How you been doing? Catching up? Getting all the computer codes and all that stuff?
No, because, I'm sorry, she was talking about. No, we spent so much time on that through, we just had the last of the words to be that. I'm with you, we'll fix it.
Hey, we're
We don't-
important too.
No, you're the most important.
We got voted in, you didn't.
No, you voted me, you can vote
No, I would never do that.
That's all right.
What?
Well, they said none, but we.
Well, I understand. And they may, maybe they have.
We want to get it to you because we're okay with, and so I'm with you on that visiting and stuff, even if it's resolution, we can still bounce back to it properly. Still bring it.
But see, yeah, but once it's a resolution, then it's even harder to turn it
I'm with
around.
you.
And the thing is, I'd rather tell HUD to hold.
Or we get everything above that.
Yeah, if HUD wants to take it away and let those children die, that's fine, because we don't get 2 weeks. Bullshit, I'm not, the thing.
Yeah, right in the middle. Yeah.
I'm workable, but I don't like to be just ignored.
Well, that's what we felt.
No,
It's just,
they'll really find it.
then somebody should call a special meeting. That's all I can say. And if
I'm rookie. I'm rookie.
That's fine.
Head down,
That's
you know, plowing through the corn like a dumb shit.
Well, I understand
Yeah,
that, but
I
the thing
know.
is, Mark's gone, Julie can call a meeting, we get 4 people there, say, here's the problem.
Glad you did it.
What do you think? Well, let's do one temporarily and say, this is good till October 2nd, or blah, 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 or
Well,
whatever.
we did hit legal, because that's what I do automatic. And so really, for me, lesson learned is next step is, hey, just call it a special meeting.
Yeah.
It could be 30 minutes long.
Right.
Get direction, maybe then you pick the 3 people at that special meeting. We break
Was it plenty warm?
But,
I was wondering.
if something comes back where everybody is pissed off, every commission, everyone,
Yeah.
Mark says, no, I'm not gonna do it. You're gonna say, well, what you guys do it for? Well, we didn't really have a choice.
This
There's
next
really no
section
choice.
will take like 2 hours.
You think so?
I mean, there are 2 exemptions, no matter what we do, even in the handbook. Two, I don't wanna talk a whole lot about it.
Well,
2 exemptions, police chief and city for any policy. Well, there's different reasons for each one.
You what?
I for one never change it basically the chance.
Yeah, so you don't care, right?
I go to my 4 or 5 and that's it. I don't do the bike path,
Yeah.
Eagle Point.
We need to get the bike path finished from 30th Avenue boat ramp to
Yeah.
is that concrete is on
I mean, who in the hell gives a shit about some of these places? Just tear it down.
Try to stick our citizens with another bill they can afford?
Oh, no, I'm not.
That's what's gonna happen? Okay.
I would just wish they just pare it down and pick 5 or something and see how it goes. And not try to do 43 or whatever, 44.
Is that their plan? You mean, well, it ain't gonna happen because we ain't got the money. You know what needs immediate attention is our issues with sewer backups and stormwater.
Well, at least I got them to put in, I got them to commit to putting in a.
Oh, yeah. Did that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I got it on
The Clinton City Council Committee of the Whole for September 12th will please come to order. We'll begin with roll call, please.
Councilmember Gassman. Seeley.
Here.
McGraw. Allison.
Here.
Odor.
Here.
O'Neill.
Here.
Thank you. Our first item tonight is Muni City software. And I guess I'll turn it over to Anita or,
Right, so I have on speakerphone Marcus, are you there?
Here, how's it going, everybody?
Great.
That,
Thank you for your time this evening. I know it's 9 o'clock where you are, so this is great for you to take the time to show this to us, but, we have a webinar, or, well, you
no, we'll move the mic over toward you.
So he's sitting at his computer. He's going to go through a display. This is of the Municity software that I spoke about a couple weeks ago at the Committee of the Whole, something that we had viewed, Task Force of Building and Neighborhood Services Department personnel, and something that interfaces with the financial management system that we're in the process of purchasing right now. So Marcus, I'm turning it over to you.
Alrighty, so my name is Marcus Allen. I am the Director of Business Development and Project Manager of the Municity 5 software. I work for a company called SCA, and we've been dealing with municipal software for about the last 30 years. I'm going to be presenting to you guys the Municity 5 software and a couple of key functionality pieces that you guys may be interested in. And I may show you guys a few of our other pieces, like the way that citizens can connect to the software and things like that, maybe mobile applications and things. But we'll go through it, and if anybody, wants to see something else or wants to schedule another demo, the more in depth afterwards, we can do so. So what we're going to do is we're going to jump right into it. This is it is a web-based application, so anybody will be able to access it that has access to the software. We'll be providing it. It is a site license that we provide to the municipality, and then they can have as many users as they'd like access to software. They'll be given this website address. They'll be given a login, which is typically their email address, and that'll get them directly into their municipality's data. Our solution, we do host your data, but you do have the opportunity to host the data yourself. And the data that we are collecting for you is your data. We do not own it. We do not have the rights to sell it or show it to other municipalities without your direct permission. I'm going to be jumping into our demo system here, and I'm going to go over a little bit about some of the features and functionality. So when you first log in, you're going to be prompted with our release notes, which is where we tell you about the new things that are happening, where things have changed, and what some municipalities will be requesting new features. And if we decide to build those features, they will be inside of these release notes and prompting you when you first log in. You can also opt out of these release notes so you don't have to see them. Once you're into the software directly, you're prompted with our generic search, and this generic search is going to give you the ability to quickly find properties, complaints, inspections, nuisances, anything in the system via a couple of quick search terms. So I can put in an address, or I can put in a name of a street. I can do something like, Ridgeway or something. It'll give me a list of all of the ridgeways within this municipality. This demonstration municipality is based off of the city of White Plains, New York, which is about 33,000 population that we currently have as a customer, and they've given us the rights to copy the data to show you guys. So once you're into the system, it's going to give you, the address, the homeowner's name, section, block, and lot, things like that, and then you can select any one of these properties to dive deeper into it. I'm going to start by showing you guys a rental inspection processing for a given address, and show you how you could manage multi-tenancy on a given address in case your assessment software does not have your occupants within inside of a property split up in the assessment record. If they do not, then I'll show you guys how you can manage that in our system, as well as how to do it on a base property where there is no multiple occupants in the system. So once you select a property, it's going to open up. It's going to give you a default photo from Google. If your assessment software that we're going to integrate with does not have a property photo, a lot of assessment systems over on the east side of or East Coast do have photos for their properties, but not all. So if we don't have it, we'll load the Google image for you. It's going to display to you the homeowner's information at the top, some of the other information relative to the number from your assessment software. I know that you guys will be purchasing, I believe, the Logix system. I don't know if it's the IRS Logix or just Logix. We do integrate with both of the systems.
Just Logix.
We have a couple of municipalities currently working with the Logix systems in Connecticut, and that system right now we integrate with to pass all the general ledger codes and fees directly from our software into their software. And then once the fee is paid through their system, it backfills our system automatically with those payments, receipt numbers, transaction dates, and things like that, as well as who's the paid. We do not store the credit card information on our system, So if you do accept a credit card payment through the financial system of Logix, we do not keep track of the credit card in our system, but you can do reporting through theirs to review credit card transactions and things like that. But we will keep a copy of the receipt of paid and who paid it and stuff like that. So I'm going to jump directly into the ability to do an inspection and show you how that would happen. So on this given property, 15 Ridgeway, I would go to the items category, which is where you're going to find about all the information about this property, if it has permits on it, if it has complaints, things like that. I would go to an inspection, create an inspection, pick which department I'm a part of. We offer department level security, so you can have different departments having access to different pieces of the software. I'm going to pick the health department for this demonstration and pick a rental inspection. Each type of inspection that you pick could have a general list of checklist items. A lot of our states on the East Coast have the ability to, or they have state standards for the processing for the rental permits and rental inspections that need to be done for, in order to have a rental unit here. So we bring those checklist items directly from the state's mandate and ordinances and put them in for the software for you. This rental one, I've only dropped 7 in of them for now, which I'll show you those checklist items in a second. I could schedule what day I'm going to go out there. I could say if it's an all-day event, if you don't want your users to manage when they're going, or you can set up specific times. This can be anywhere from 30-minute intervals or 15 or however you want. It can be as specific as 1-minute intervals if you'd like. This demonstration just has it set up for 15. You can pick when this inspection has to be done by in case they keep rescheduling it. You can set up a given due date. That way you can generate warning letters automatically to send to the homeowner or the renter who's renting out the individual property or dwelling. I'd pick a due date if I'd like, and then I can pick which inspector is going to go and do this inspection. So I can come down here and pick anybody I want. And then I can give it an additional location. So if the entrance is around back, I can put that in here, around back. And it's going to grab all the property information from the property we created this inspection on for us. So I don't have to put in the address or anything like that, zip code or directions or anything like that. So I'm going to open this inspection after I create it. And this is going to bring up what we call the inspection card, which is going to give you all the information about the specific inspection, show you your checklist items that need to be performed. We do have a mobile application to allow you to do these inspections on a mobile device while you're there, and also generate violations and compliance letters while you're in the field via Bluetooth printers, both laser and inkjet. This item section over here will show us a list of all these individual checklist items. And we can go into illegal locks, pass or fail these guys, go to does this contain a specific panic hardware? Do they have the exit and directional signs in place? And then I can issue violation letters directly out of the software during their rental inspection. And each checklist item relates back to an ordinance code so that we can issue the state mandate, failure to comply letter or whatever exactly that you guys will be issuing. I can also track things like mileage, how far I've gone on this inspection. We offer a fleet tracking software that'll track vehicles if you're interested in that as well, which will automatically log when the inspector goes within range of a given property and when he leaves it, so you can verify whether or not the rental inspection inspector himself was actually there when he performed the inspection. Some of the other things is we have a full media section, so you can upload any documents, videos, or pictures from the mobile device or back when you get in the office via our media section. You can attach files using the Add File button. You can pick any picture you'd like, open it up and upload it, and it'll upload those documents, and you'll be able to access them from any computer anywhere in the world because it'll be storing them in the cloud for you. Once I have this individual inspection, I can go in and identify that this inspection is failed. I went out there and it didn't meet my standards. I can identify what checklist items failed, and it's going to prompt me if I want to schedule a follow-up inspection now. If I do say yes, it's going to give me a form to fill out to create the next inspection, and it's going to also prompt me to see if I want to create a complaint. If you're doing a fire safety inspection, maybe you want to put in a complaint and do some violation processing directly from that inspection, so it's going to prompt you if you want to create one of those. And then there is options to do a printout, which will give you, we directly integrate with Microsoft Office and Word, so you can generate Word documents directly from our software. This is an example of a printout that could print all of the individual checklist items, whether they're satisfactory or unsatisfactory. You could also use this form to generate, to make sure that your inspectors are following the given procedures required by your state. So they have they could, instead of having a digital mobile device with them to go over these items, they also could just print this form out before they go and then check off the boxes and then backlog it in our system afterwards. You have the options to email this item directly to the homeowner from here, or you can download it and make changes to it on your own local machine. Anything that you generate from our software is automatically uploaded to the media section for us. So I can see that this checklist document that we generated is automatically attached to it. Some of the other things that are usually associated with rental inspections would be things like complaints that are generated from the inspection. So if you guys have any type of failures to comply, those kind of directly correlate with our nuisance tracking module. So if you have people complaining about the rental quality of life, or maybe their neighbor or a junk car in their neighbor's driveway or anything like that, we have a full nuisance tracking module that I'm going to go over with you guys. So pretty much that's the basics of the inspection module on a given property or an occupant. You can create an inspection on it, fill out information, generate printouts, attach media, and issue letters directly from the field or from the office. So I'm going to jump over quickly to the reporting module. So I'll show you a couple of our reporting. So we have canned reporting, which we give you out of the box for free, and you also can customize these at any time for free as well. And so I can go in here, jump into the complaint reports, give me a report, and give me all reports from the first of the 2016 till now. Run that report, it'll generate a PDF document. If I then only want to see a specific given type, I can say only show me dangerous conditions, and it'll filter this report automatically. I can email this, export it to Word, Excel, or PDF. It'll open up in a new tab for me to export, and then I could post this up on my website or up for the citizens to be able to view. We can also host all of this data through our citizens portal as well if you'd like. It's just some of the options. This data that's being displayed here, these columns are completely customizable by the municipality. So if you guys don't want to display maybe the complainant himself who's complaining about the nuisance, you can remove those columns. If you don't want to display whether the item has been inspected, we can remove that as well. So this is kind of the canned reporting that we have built in. You can schedule these reports to run automatically, at the first of the month or at the end of every week, and have them email automatically directly to your superiors or to town council or to the state itself as a report, as a PDF or Excel document through our scheduling system. We have an archive of every item that has been ran, and then we have an advanced section to allow you to customize the individual pieces of the reports. Some of the other interesting, cool things that we do is we directly integrate with GIS. So if you have any maps that your municipality hosts, or if you want us to host the GIS for you, we can. And we also, anything that you track in our system, we automatically apply a latitude and longitude to. So every given property has a location on the map, and then as you're taking in nuisance complaints or rental inspections, we have that data and those given latitude and longitude, so we can pinpoint things on the map. We can generate heat maps so you can see where in your municipality you're getting the most complaints during a given day or hour. And I'm going to show you a little bit of that right now for the nuisance reporting. So I'm going to jump into our console, which is where you could find anything that you need to find in the system through this console. It gives you the ability to apply a lot of different filters before you actually perform your search. So I'll jump over to the complaint section really quickly, and we'll do, from a given date. Let's go back to 2009. Yeah, I think there's some decent data in there. We can perform a search, and it's going to dump out a list of all of the individual complaints format, where the section, block, and lot, and address, and all of the individual complaints that are listed here. These are fields that are customizable by the municipality. And then if I want, I can click this little show results on map icon, and what it will do is it'll automatically minimize the console to the top for you, and it will show you all of those individual complaints on the map, and then you can click on them to open them up. You can also print this map out and then make copies of it, send it out to board meetings and things like that, so you have a kind of a general idea of where you're getting your most complaints. This mapping system does offer the parcel boundaries, so if you zoom in and give it a second, it'll load up all of the individual parcel boundaries. This is a tax layer that's being hosted by the City of White Plains. We can also identify properties from it, so we can go to select mode and then click on these properties, and it automatically identify who the property owner is, and I can open up more information about that property by clicking the open parcel button. I'm going to give you a little bit more information about these guys specifically. So we do offer reporting and FOIL request modules from the system. So if some individual wants to know about all the information about this property, we have canned reports to generate a FOIL request from the software. And then the municipality themselves have the ability to manage all of our reports and files directly from this templating module here. So they can design what the Word document's going to look like, anything that they want. They can put seals and things like that. They get full control over the Word documents in case they want to change things. They don't have to come to us to have the changes made. We also do a butter notifications, which is a general common process for any type of work that's going to be having to be performed after, say 9 p.m. or after working hours or in the morning, or if, there's a chemical release, something like that, you may want to do in a butters notification. We do any type of yardage. You can do, anywhere from 0 to see only abutting properties all the way up to 500 or something, feet. There's a recalculate button. It'll redraw the map and reselect the properties for you. And then you can use that to generate a PDF mailing list or an Excel spreadsheet, and then you can do a mail merge through Word. Let's see, some of the other functionality that we offer directly for the system is a calendar tracking module for those individual complaints and rental inspections. So there's a calendar we integrate automatically with Google Calendar as long as you have Google accounts for all of your inspectors. This is going to show you all of the inspectors and color code the inspectors based upon the left-hand side. And then these little icons that are yellow and green and red are based upon the status of that inspection. I also can see on the right-hand side inspections that have not been scheduled that are due this month over on this right-hand side. And I can click on one of these inspections and schedule this inspection after calling the tenant and verifying if they're ready to do their inspection this month. We also do automatic reporting for these unscheduled inspections that are due in case you guys need to, warn the individuals who own the property that they need to have their rental inspections done before a given date and time. We have automatic reporting to send them emails as well as allowing them to fulfill the certificates of occupancies for those rental properties automatically. So we can set up things like that through our citizens portal so they can go in, pay their fees to have the certificate of occupancy done. I'm assuming you guys probably do rental inspections before issuing any type of COs to let people live there. So you probably wouldn't do an automated system to allow them to pay for the rentals, but without inspecting it. And then the last thing I'm going to jump in for you guys to give you a quick demonstration of is our pet licensing module. I'm going to show you the way that we do it for the citizens if they were interested in applying really quickly, and then I'll jump over to the base system and show you how you would do it in the office. So if a citizen wanted to come in and apply for a dog license, or if they wanted to renew one of theirs, they can come in here and search with their name, and bring up any licenses that have their name associated with it, or they can create a new license. And by clicking to create new license, it'll pre-fill information from their individual property. It'll ask them to fill out information about their dog, rabies information. It allows them to upload the individual documents and then pay fees if you have that module on. And this will integrate directly with your Logix system as long as you have the payment module built in for online payments for Logix. And then you would get a notification in your base software stating that a person has renewed their license or has applied for a new license, and you just need to review the documents that have been uploaded. Back in the base software, if you want to do it, if somebody's coming up to the front desk and wanted to apply for a pet license, there's this console module that we talked about earlier, and there's a licensing section. And then in here, I can review all licenses that have come in within a given date range and generate letters that, your dog license is about to expire, but I also can create new licenses from this module. So I can hit create, I can pick a different license type, and I can hit dog. I can either fill in a tag number specifically. If you guys issue tags for the registered dog, you can put in the number manually here. You can put in 17-01 or something, or if you leave it blank, we'll automatically number it for you. We also have a built-in checking, so if this number has already been used in your system, it won't give you a green check, it'll give you a red X, but if it's available to be used, then it will give you the green check letting you know that you're not issuing duplicate numbers. You're allowed to fill in the name of the dog, you can fill in any notes or descriptions about it, you can associate fees directly with it, and these fees will also synchronize back to your Logix system. And then once you've created this individual license, it will open up for you. Oh, I didn't check off the open box. Let's just open up one of these real quick. Just quickly looking at the dog license I just created, so I'm going to open that up by double-clicking on it. And then inside of this individual license associated to the properties, there's a dog and cat area where I can identify any information about that dog specifically, whether it's breed or anything like that, if it's a Dutch Shepherd, whether it's been spayed or neutered, fill in its name, if it's been microchipped, fill in a rabies tag and manufacturing information like that. And I also can generate printouts directly from here. you know, expired dog licenses, issue them a new license, and things like that. So yeah, that's the 4 big categories that I was going to show you guys. I can kind of give you an idea of the integrations that we do with Logix.